Patty, can you hear us? Hey there, Patty. Can you hear me? Check one.
A better person than I knew I was.
Hey folks, let's spend some time with some friends up north. I'm Ben Cominos from WHBY in Appleton. Joining us from WCPT in Chicago is Patty Vasquez, and from the Minocqua Brewing Company, here's Kirk Bangstad. We've got the usual suspects from our Substack page with us, as well as a special guest or two. Wherever you are, welcome, you're up north.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing? This is Kirk Bangstad, and I am in the Minocqua Brewing Company tap room in Minocqua, Wisconsin. We are getting this place ready to open up on May 1st, this Friday. We are also very excited to announce there's going to be a protest against the Minocqua Brewing Company on Saturday at noon. And that's kind of the reason for this show today. Patty Vasquez will be joining me in a second. She's still trying to figure out her audio. But the reason this show is going to be particularly interesting today, because many of you have probably read in the news, because we were trending. My name was trending number 1 on X or Twitter 2 days ago, and apparently I'm wanted by the FBI right now. And this is the first time I'll be talking live since I posted what I posted on Saturday. So once Patty joins, I wanted to go through the last 4 or 5 days, because they've all been extremely wild for me, for the company, I think for Wisconsin. And it's been very funny, but it's been quite hot. It's been quite hot. So let me talk about what transpired. So we set the stage. If any of you are watching who haven't heard what's going on, I'll be surprised. But let's set the stage. So on Saturday, we all heard. I was driving around in California because we were bottling some wine that is made with my wine partners. And so I was doing some marketing stuff for that, and we all heard on the radio that there was a active shooting happening at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. So of course, because I get on camera a lot, and we do political analysis. I'm like, I gotta chime in here. So, to me, I'm like, oh, another assassination attempt. Another assassination attempt. And I didn't quite buy it. And I started checking out threads, and I don't think anybody bought it. And so I wrote, oh, there you are. There she is. Hey, Patty. Well, I think I just heard Patty come in. Hey, how you doing? Oh, yay. What's happening?
My apologies. I was listening to your story. We were trying to get all the video. There were too many tabs open, essentially. Hi, Kirk Bangstad. How are you doing with the Up North podcast? Carry on. Pick up the story where you were.
Really good. Okay, so I posted, and I'll let you know what I posted here, because I didn't quite believe that this assassination was real, given lots of reason we'll talk about in the upcoming podcast. But I posted this, and it got me in some hot water. I said, well, we almost got free beer day. And if anybody has been following me for the last 3 months, free beer day is a promise I've made to give free beer the day that he retires for the last time. And so I said, well, we almost got free beer day. Either a brother or sister in the resistance needs to work on their marksmanship, or he faked another assassination to get a positive news cycle. We'll never know. Regardless, we stand at the ready to pour free beer the day it happens. So, Patty, that got me. That I just posted that and then went to bed. And then in the morning, it had gone viral.
I believe it. And here's the thing is that we know it's a mix, because I went through a lot of the responses to it, including somebody who shared a T-shirt that Joan Baez enjoys wearing. The question a lot of people have, and by the way, miss me with the BS if there wasn't a massive amount of members of MAGA who were on Joe Biden death watch, making jokes about it. I mean, JD Vance was joking about it. Lauren Boebert made jokes about it. So it's, it is definitely, well, when we say it, it's different. We say it differently. We're not just, no, there are plenty of people who want to find a reason to be angry at you, Kirk. I know it's hard to believe, folks.
Well, but I don't want to say all. So I'm going to tell this story in the first segment, and then we're going to go through a lot of actual kind of background on, what's the real stats on who is causing the political violence in America. I'm guessing most of our audience knows where that's going to go. We're also going to go to. We're also going to talk about, why it's plausible in the next segment that this might not be all that's stacked up to be in terms of the story that we've been hearing by the mainstream media. And then we're going to talk about a poor guy who got fired by wearing one of my shirts in the fourth segment. So we got a lot more, but
he was wearing your shirt. I was looking at that story.
It was it looked like a PBS shirt, but it said, instead of PBS, it said FDT, which stands for
I had that I have a sticker on my computer. Yes.
Yeah. So Sunday, I wake up, this thing has gone viral. I have emails from Newsweek, Fox, the Milwaukee Journal, the Daily Mail. It hasn't gone full MAGA yet. So some news outlets are trying to get to me, and some regular ones, some mainstream ones, and then some like Fox and the Daily Mail. But the Milwaukee Journal says, do you want to respond to the Wisconsin Democratic Party disavowing what you said, as well as gubernatorial candidates Francesca Hong and Mandela Barnes? So that was the first time. That was Sunday morning that I learned that some of my fellow progressives were coming out and disavowing what I had posted. And then we saw an avalanche. Basically, every elected Democrat, came out and had to make a post that say, of course, we think political violence is bad and it's not the solution, which I completely believe as well. It's satire is what I was doing. But they all had to come out and say that. And because they came out and said it, in my own mind, they acknowledged the Republican storyline, which was the left wing is causing violence. Before they even knew what had happened with the shooter, they were saying it's the left wing caused violence. They were taking everything at face value, and the Democrats bought it hook, line, and sinker and went on the defensive immediately, as opposed to just saying, hold on, I'd like to verify by a separate law enforcement agency other than the FBI or the Department of Justice, who lies along with Trump all the time. I want to separately verify who this guy was, what he was, etc. We're going to talk about the next segment too. But so that happened on Sunday. I responded in a typical way. I kind of trolled these mainstream media outlets because they were looking to troll me, right? They were looking to set up a story that shamed me for what I said. And so any reason to get, to engage with a story meant to be a hit piece. I've been in politics long enough. You just don't engage.
Right. That should have been the take that other folks had, was no comment. I didn't see it. I'm not familiar with it, whatever. No.
This is what I would have said had I been running.
Or nothing. Silence is also beautiful.
Had I been running for any office. Trump has lied to us so much, and his regime has lied to us so much that, and oligarchs have largely bought all of the news stations in the country, and CBS and ABC, and CBS primarily, even Newsweek, the Washington Post, has largely become state-run propaganda channels. I don't know what's true anymore, and I'm not going to say anything until I trust what the source is. But no, that didn't happen.
No.
We got a couple more. So this is it all kind of happened. So that was Monday happened. It was picked up by MAGA. So Ben Shapiro started talking about how terrible a person I was. On Monday, I've never trended number one in Twitter or X in my entire life. And I trended as the top trending thing on it wasn't really a proud moment. It's all amusing to me. But that happened on Monday. Unfortunately, my phone number and my girlfriend's phone number and our addresses got out into the public as well. So I've been getting death threats for 3 days. My phone rings off the hook. The funny thing is, I'm being signed up to everything from porn sites to Christian sites. I'm getting people have my email, so I'm being signed up to everything, which actually I've known other politicians that have had that happen to them. So anyways, I probably got to change my email address. And then so that happened on Monday. We kept on fighting. I wasn't going to back down because I don't think I had actually done anything wrong, but everybody really wanted me to apologize on Monday. And then Tuesday happened. Comey was indicted for taking a picture of of the numerals 8647. He was indicted for that, which obviously means get rid of the president. Doesn't mean assassinate the president.
No, it means we don't have it anymore. That's what I learned in a restaurant.
That's what I learned.
If somebody orders the salmon, we've 86'd it. That's all. I mean, like, we didn't go out and kill a salmon.
So because that happened and the FBI was after James Comey, Dan O'Donnell, who's a right-wing radio talk show host in Wisconsin, tweeted, or he wrote a story that I was under investigation by the FBI. I thought that was hilarious because I've done nothing wrong, and neither has James Comey. So I put that together. I made fun of Kash Patel, and so that happened yesterday. Today I woke up learning that an executive at Aspirus Hospital, which is in my area hometown of Stevens Point in Wausau, was fired because he was wearing my shirt, and I wrote all about that. And we're going to talk about that in the next segment. So it's been quite a few days.
A roller coaster of last few days.
So take it away, Pat. Let's go to commercial, and we'll dig into everything I just talked about in the next couple of seconds.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for tuning in to WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150 in Seattle, and KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul. We're carrying the Up North podcast with Monaco Brewing Company's CEO, Kirk Bangstad, the founder and the mastermind behind all of that. And folks want to get their panties in a bunch over something that was written, and not over girls' school being bombed in Iran. I don't know. Maybe you might need to sit down and contemplate about that. More in a moment as we continue our conversation right here. If you want to text me, I'll take some texts at 773-763-9278. I'm guessing some of you got something to say.
For the longest time.
Believe it or not, this podcast takes a lot of work behind the scenes to make Kirk & Company look like they know what they're doing. And a lot of the money that goes to pay our producers and editors comes from the sale of Progressive Beer. The Monaco Brewing Company sells Progressive Beer all throughout Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois, and online to about 30 states. Never seen it? That's likely because we've been banned by distributors for our unapologetically progressive voice. To find where you can buy Progressive Beer, go to MonacoBrewingCompany.com and click the Retail Locations tab. That's MonacoBrewingCompany.com and click Retail Locations. We get it. Your liver is under constant attack. Alcohol is a dictator that takes away your freedom. It distracts while doing its dirty work. It weakens your judicial system and governing bodies. If you give it too much power, you'll never be the same. We have the solution. 8647 THC hop water. 0 alcohol, 0 calories, tastes like patriotism. 8647 THC hop water. Liberate your liver. Buy 8647 THC Hop Water and Joint Session, our THC Orange Cooler, by going to thc.monacobrewingcompany.com. That's thc.monacobrewingcompany.com. The Up North podcast is sponsored by the Monaco Brewing Company, who sells progressive beer online across the country. If you like the show today, please consider buying one of our beer subscription packages for yourself or a loved one. You can subscribe to the Democrat, the Liberal, and the Progressive, which delivers four packs of beer to your door for 6 months, a year, or 2 years. To find where you can subscribe to get Progressive Beer delivered to your door every month, go to MonacoBrewingCompany.com and click Progressive Beer. That's MonacoBrewingCompany.com and click Progressive Beer. The Monaco Brewing Company is excited to partner with Brouhaha Coffee to create woke coffee. Get woke, go broke. That's what they say, right? Au contraire, mon frère. This gourmet coffee was awarded 2025 Roast of the Year at the Coffee Break Festival in Wisconsin, and it comes in both medium and dark roasts. Support our political action and enjoy fabulous coffee at the same time. For our Up North podcast listeners, go to the MonacoMarketplace.com, find coffee under the beverage tab, and type in Up North to get 10% off your order. That's MonacoMarketplace.com and use the promo code UpNorth.
Where facts matter.
And we're continuing our broadcast of the Up North podcast. I think it's the first time we've ever lined up the show with our ads. Hey, Kirk, take it away, my friend from Monaco Brewing Company.
All right, so I just kind of gave everybody the laydown, the rundown of what's happened from when the White House dinner with the Monaco Brewing Company making news in probably not the best way. But I wanted to kind of get back to the premise. And Patty, I'm guessing, because it's Wednesday, I'm guessing you've probably talked about this a fair amount on Monday and Tuesday in your video show. But I want to get back to why, from my perspective, 70% of the progressives that I'm seeing on my socials, maybe more, thought that this was fishy and that this assassination attempt was potentially fake or at least very mysterious and fishy, like the last few assassination attempts have been. what have you heard? I mean, I have some thoughts of why it's fishy, but I wanted to get your thoughts first.
Well, as far, do you want the thoughts or do you want some of the facts surrounding what actually happened tonight?
Because first of all, tell us, make sure that we're all on the same page in terms of who this guy was.
Yeah, because like people kind of catch things in passing. It's background noise. They don't want to pay attention. So on April 25th, this weekend, 2026, at the Washington, D.C. Hilton around 8:40 p.m., a man from California named Cole Allen breached security at the annual White House Correspondents' Dinner with a loaded shotgun and handgun with the alleged intent of assassinating the president and other high-ranking officials. One Secret Service agent was shot but saved by a bulletproof vest. I don't know that we've actually confirmed where that bullet came from, by the way, but that's just one thing to point out. One Secret Service, he sustained minor injuries. Cole Allen is now in custody and facing multiple charges, including attempt to assassinate the president. So to your question about the part of it is when you're lied to so much by an administration, when we see things with our own eyes, when we see people murdered in their cars, when we see a nurse who's just trying to protect somebody and murdered in front of us, when we see that he does not have a weapon or is not brandishing a weapon. That's just two instances of being told, don't believe this. So why would we believe what they're telling us at any stage of the situation at any moment? I mean, everything is not even like I have a whole bag of salt that I have to take with everything that they say. And the other thing to your point about the previous attempts, when he was shot at in Pennsylvania, and I do say shot at because there are even MAGA full cult, members who were like, they were all in, and they're starting to question with some of the images that are coming out, the fist pump. I mean, it was, and then when we even just think of this instance, the fact that first of all, they took JD Vance off the stage first was fishy, that everyone in shock and Trump's just sitting there. I mean, there were so many weird, bizarre moments, people stealing booze while they're in the room. They're not questioning everybody. And I think in each situation, actually, I would say all of them, every attempt that we've heard about or seen is that they don't seem to act as though, hey, maybe there's more than one person. Like, that's just one of the things that struck me in Pennsylvania. In this instance, like, why wouldn't you lock down? Why wouldn't you make sure that everybody is, one, safe, and two, not also armed?
Yeah.
Would you ask me what was the question?
Yes. I mean, you've mentioned things I haven't even thought about. I mean, to me, the biggest question is, I've been alive 50 years, and maybe I haven't been paying attention that much, but I don't think the Secret Service seemingly went to the dogs as soon as Trump became president. Mm-hmm. There's been 3 attempted assassinations, and they've all of the alleged assassins. One got a bullet off in Butler, Pennsylvania. The other guy
killed somebody. Yeah.
And by the way, the ear healed really quickly. Never a scar. And so I mean, obviously I'm engaging in conspiracy theories now, but I feel like there's a lot of things that are questionable. The fact that this other guy in his own golf course was able to get onto the golf course, and get close enough, get very close to the president. It's like, what has happened to the Secret Service if they're not in on it, which would be the conspiracy theory? If they're not in on it, then why are they so bad? Why can't they protect the president like the other secret security agencies have protected prior presidents?
Right. And I think one of the things that we know is that he only wants people around him that are loyalists, not the most competent people necessarily. And we can see that. So it's either wild incompetence or it's a false flag. Those are the only two choices. And someone just texted in, Patty, it wasn't an assassination attempt. It was a breach in security. And I think that's what the conclusion a lot of us have come to. And ultimately, the Secret Service did do its job when it came to their entire job is to keep the president alive. So they did that. Thankfully, nobody was seriously injured, but it does make us think, like, is it because of his tanking poll numbers? Is it because of Iran, the gas price? I mean, the list of reasons that it could be that we all think, I wonder if he's trying to distract from that, is that he has things that he would want to have people distracted from.
Yeah. I still think he wanted to change the narrative. And we'll never know, because obviously it's hard to, as a pseudo reporter, I don't never claim to be a reporter, but as a guy who doesn't believe a word out of Trump's mouth, who has seen him flood the zone so many times, I can completely understand if, they get a guy who wants to kill the president because they hear his digital talk and they see what he's writing, and they have his text messages because Palantir has all our information. They see a guy, they're like, well, let's let him in. We're not going to let him, up the next floor. We're not going to let him get a shot off, but let's let him in so that we can create this crazy scene. But we won't, nothing will actually happen. To me, it's shots will be fired, said Carolyn Levitt.
Right.
JD Vance and Hegseth were joking mere hours after this thing. Like,
yeah. Well, and then
understand what's going on.
Well, the other thing is, as you know, the rapid nature in which they immediately went to, we've got to have a ballroom. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So interesting that the assassination attempt happened in a ballroom so that they could justify wanting taxpayers to build a military headquarters underneath a ballroom. Interesting that'll happen. I mean, because if Cole Allen, I'm just saying, I'm speculating, which is our right to do so.
So the ballroom. I mean. John,
isn't that crazy?
No, I mean, what's his name? The funny guy on the Jon Stewart. He already went through all this stuff, but I mean, the fact that we went to funding a ballroom from an assassination attempt was absolutely absurd. The deeper thing is they're building a bomb shelter.
Yeah.
Underneath the White House, which a judge has already allowed them to build because they said this is for, higher level security than you, Mr. Judge, is going to know. But so he let them build whatever underneath, but he said you can't build the ballroom because you need to actually get some sort of approval from Congress to do that. And so they're pushing for this ballroom. Now, the estimated cost for that ballroom went from $200 million to $400 million. And there are 37 oligarchs, including his Treasury Secretary, Lutnick or whatever, that are funding this $400 million ballroom. And so if the price is now astronomical and you're using an assassination attempt to turn the conversation to this astronomically funded ballroom, who's the one who's getting paid those $400 million? Does some of that money go back to Trump in exchange for favors that will make these businessmen much more collectively than $400 million? That has been the entire regime since Trump was elected.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I know that people, are not keen when we make comparisons. And I just want to say that in 1936, there was an expansion of the old Reich Chancellery that included a reception hall built directly over an air raid shelter known as the Vorbunker. Just saying.
You mean World War II? Yes.
I'm just in Germany. Right. There may have been. Thank you so much, everyone, as we continue our conversation here on Driving It Home in the Up North podcast. Joining us is Kirk Bangstad. We're going to continue our conversation in just a moment as you listen on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150 and KTNF AM 950. We're so glad you're here. If you want to text us, 773-763-9278. More in a moment.
Believe it or not, this podcast takes a lot of work behind the scenes to make Kirk and Company look like they know what they're doing. And a lot of money that goes to pay our producers and editors comes from the sale of our progressive t-shirts. The Monaco Brewing Company sells t-shirts to supplement our beer sales because we've been banned by beer distributors for our unapologetically progressive voice. To find where you can buy our t-shirts, go to monacomarketplace.com and go to apparel. For Up North podcast listeners, get 10% off on all of our merch by going to monacomarketplace.com and typing in promo code UpNorth. That's monacomarketplace.com, promo code UpNorth. The Up North podcast is sponsored by the Minocqua Marketplace, or what we like to call the Amazon for progressives. Every product sold on the Minocqua Marketplace is made by a company that's pledged to never donate money to the MAGA movement. There's over 60 companies on our marketplace, and we sell everything from nuts to detergents to doormats. Save democracy with your wallet by shopping only at MinocquaMarketplace.com. For Up North podcast listeners, save 10% on any order in the store by going to MinocquaMarketplace.com and typing in promo code UpNorth. That's MinocquaMarketplace.com, promo code UpNorth. We get it. Your liver is under constant attack. Alcohol is a dictator that takes away your freedom. It distracts while doing its dirty work. It weakens your judicial system and governing bodies. If you give it too much power, you'll never be the same. We have the solution. 8647 THC Hop Water. Zero alcohol, 0 calories, tastes like patriotism. 8647 THC Hop Water. Liberate your liver. Buy 8647 THC Hop Water and Joint Session, our THC Orange Cooler, by going to thc.minocquabrewingcompany.com. That's thc.minocquabrewingcompany.com. The Minocqua Brewing Company is excited to partner with Brouhaha Coffee to create woke coffee. Get woke, go broke. That's what they say, right? Au contraire, mon frère. This gourmet coffee was awarded 2025 Roast of the Year at the Coffee Break Festival in Wisconsin, and it comes in both medium and dark roasts. Support our political action and enjoy fabulous coffee at the same time. For our Up North podcast listeners, go to the MinocquaMarketplace.com, find coffee under the beverage tab, and type in Up North to get 10% off your order. That's MinocquaMarketplace.com and use the promo code UpNorth.
Back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
Because facts matter. You are listening to WCPT 820.
And we are continuing our podcast of the Up North podcast here on WCPT 820, KKNW 1150 in Seattle, and KTNF AM 950, Heartland Signal as well on Facebook and YouTube. And joining us now is CEO of Minocqua Brewing Company, the mastermind behind the incredible progressive beer, saving our democracy with our wallets. Take it away, Kirk.
Okay, so since I shared my less than great dark satire, which wondered why the shooters aren't better at their marksmanship, might have not said the right thing. But since I've said that, we have had a deluge of Republicans and conservative pundits just saying, "Oh my God, here we go again. The liberals are killing everybody. The violence, the left-wing violence, the progressive violence is over the top. We've got to change the rhetoric in this country."
Oh yeah, I'm sure that they're all going to be all lovey-dovey. Sure.
Because obviously Trump's rhetoric is over the top, violent all the time.
You mean annihilating an entire civilization? That's not. I'm just saying.
But let's, instead of us being snarky and saying,
I'm sorry. Okay.
Hey, listen. I mean, I am too. But we want to get into the facts in this segment and actually go back and show some real facts about where political violence is coming from in the U.S. So Sam put all this together. Sam, can you put up?
Thank you, Sam.
All right. So this chart is politically motivated terrorist killers and their victims, excluding 9/11 from 1975 to 2025. So if you can, so we'll go through the ones that we're not talking about right now and leave the left versus the right to talk about. But foreign nationalism is about 18 killers who have killed 10 people. That's 1.667% of the deaths. Islam has 34 killers with 139 deaths, which represents about 23% of all the deaths. Separatism, which I don't even know if I know, maybe don't want to be part of the United States, or they want to be a part of some, maybe those Boston killers. There's 3 and they've killed 7 people. Taiwan. Think Taiwan. Thanks, Sam. That's 1%. Unknown or other is about 1%, 2%. So the left to the right. Here's the statistics. The right, there's been 89 killers who have killed 363 people that were right folks. On the left, less than half of those 89, there's only 40 killers. And there is a factor of a fifth, 68 deaths versus 363 deaths. It's actually the ratio is 6.7 to 1 is right-wing deaths versus left-wing deaths. So that is from like the Department of Justice. That's real data from the National Institute of Justice. They published that in 2024. They've now removed these stats. That's yes. Sam, had to find it from before. They removed these stats, so you can't even see this anymore. Patty, there is another graph from the Cato Institute. Sam, can you put that up? And Patty, can you talk about this next graph?
Okay, for folks, maybe you're not familiar with the Cato Institute. It's a libertarian think tank. It's not a left-wing source or right-wing source for that matter. It's libertarian. 51-year data set published in February of this year, 2026. If you strip out 9/11 and Oklahoma City because they are statistical outliers, then everything else that swamps everything else and distorts the trend. What remains, right wing, there's 195 deaths at 45%, Islamists 138 at 32%, left wing 68 at 16%. Right to left ratio is 2.9 to 1 over 51 years. Since 2008, 3.5 to 1 is the gap. The Center for Strategic and International Studies. So are we doing that? This one's by the Cato Institute. There's also information from the Center for Strategic and International Studies at CSIS, September 2025. This is the source the right is actually citing right now. Left-wing incidents have been rising at 0.6 per year in the 90s, 4 per year from 2006 through 2024. 5 incidents in just the first half of 2025. For the first time in 35 years, the left-wing incident count has exceeded the right-wing by raw count. But what gets left out of that claim every single time, past decade fatalities, right-wing 112. Jihadists 82, left-wing 13. Left-wing fatalities since 2022, 2 confirmed, 3 if you count Charlie Kirk's killing in September 2025, rising from nearly nothing, still nearly nothing, which is 2. I mean, that's not, and by the way, when we say these numbers, being fully aware, we're talking about human beings, but we are in this this space of having to push back with data because of the significant backlash, not just in this assassination attempt, but as mentioned, Charlie Kirk's killing. And in which people were fired. At any rate, don't get me started about all that.
So what you just read, and let me reiterate for the audience because that's a lot of numbers. The amount of deaths that occur because of political terrorism, the deaths from right-wing terrorists vastly outweigh those from the left. And there's only been 3 people killed in the last year by the left, and Charlie Kirk was one of them. And so all the data we just gave you for the last 5 minutes clearly shows that right-wing political violence vastly outweighs left-wing political violence. The saddest stat you're going to get all day is the next stat that I tell you. And that stat is that the Pew Research Center said that they took a poll among all Americans. And the poll was like, the question was, 85% of Americans say political violence is increasing. I think we can all agree that we're seeing a lot more political shootings. So 85%, everybody agrees that political violence is increasing. Unfortunately, 52% of that same poll say that right-wing extremism is a major problem. 53%, one more percentage point of Americans say that left-wing political violence is the major problem, which means that public opinion says that we're both at fault equally, even though we just read you these stats that said it's like a 5-to-1 difference between right-wing violence way more than left-wing violence. What's going on, Patty?
Well, it is it's obviously running the table, right? It's also the flood of the different, whether it's social media, whether it's Fox News, and it's also people who are squishy, right? They're just like Democrats are like, oh, we should take. It's that when they go low, we go high, and then so we keep thinking, well, we need to take some responsibility over our language, which makes it not. And by the way, the language that Jimmy Kimmel has used. I mean, look, the dark humor that you use isn't uncommon. I mentioned earlier that Joan Baez has a shirt. There's I just think this disconnect between what he is doing in real time. We're just talking about the political violence, and of course, political violence is not an answer. It is disgusting, and we should all denounce political violence. But denouncing and disavowing people who are musing about it, right? Because, by the way, we are all in a mental health funk over what's happened over the last 10 years. I mean, I don't go off and I don't want to cancel someone who texts me stupid crap to my show. I'm like, well, this guy's got a mental health issue. I hope he's getting help, right? Whatever. Yeah. If Kirk's going to text in the middle of the night, we're all going through some things, folks. But the fact that we have ICE agents, the amount of violence that our own law enforcement, we're not even allowed to investigate. That trumps everything that we're talking about. The harm that's being done to people in their homes, in their communities, in their schools, the harm that we're doing in Iran, what we've done around the world, just even our soft power of providing nutrition and healthcare to people around the world. And people want to get upset about the things that we say because whether it's Charlie Kirk or this attempt, come on now. Where are your priorities?
Well, and the problem is that their machine is better. They all march to the same drummer, and they all don't really. I mean, they don't. I shouldn't say they all, but so many would rather see their party win than at all costs, and not acknowledge facts and not acknowledge empathy and not take any responsibility. Whereas on our side, I definitely want to see my team win, and I definitely have become jaded and cynical. But there is always a tendency, like you said, to well, maybe we should look in the mirror. Maybe we should tone it down, because that's what progressives are. But if we do that, we allow public perception to be swayed by the right and for them to label us violent when the statistics say that's just not true.
Exactly. Yeah, it's insane. And somebody asked on my show, reassassination attempts first, please include Charlie Kirk's assassination in the overall equation. But here's a question that needs to be asked. What was everyone talking about in the week before the attempt? And what is it that we are not talking about now?
Exactly.
Which I think
that's the reason why I'm so suspect about all of these assassinations that seem like so disjointed. They just don't. The start and the finish and the evidence we get in between, it seems disjointed, and it doesn't seem whole, and it just seems like it's too frequent, and that you can't believe what you're hearing.
Yeah. And I will say this too, when it comes to comments that are made, I've seen plenty of, I've seen right wingers say that that lefties just don't have as good of aim. So how is that different from something that you say? You know what I'm saying? Right.
I was amazed that they didn't have any.
I'm curious.
If you're going to really assassinate somebody, you think you'd figure out how to do it. That was hyperbole. But the main thing was it's ridiculous to think that all these assassination attempts are being attempted. Thus, something else is happening, and that seems shady.
It does. It seems very suspect, and so I appreciate that we're having this conversation, because I know a lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people want to know more or less. I don't know. I mean, that's the other thing is it drives people
too much. I don't need to talk about this anymore.
I know, but it also, the not trusting it, not knowing if it's real, that will continue to permeate conversations about other situations, and including now the Epstein files. Right? At any rate, we've got to take a break here. We are hanging out with Kirk Bangstad, the CEO of Minocqua Brewing Company. You can go to MinocquaBrewingCompany.com. Subscribe to the Substack. We encourage you to be paid subscribers to support the work that we all do there. We've got some great writers and share some wonderful products by people in our marketplace as well. Go to MinocquaBrewingCompany.com and the Minocqua Brewing Company Substack. More in a moment on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150 and KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Believe it or not, this podcast takes a lot of work behind the scenes to make Kirk and Company look like they know what they're doing. And a lot of the money that goes to pay our producers and editors comes from the sale of Progressive Beer. The Monaco Brewing Company sells Progressive Beer all throughout Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois, and online to about 30 states. Never seen it? That's likely because we've been banned by distributors for our unapologetically progressive voice. To find where you can buy Progressive Beer, go to MonacoBrewingCompany.com and click the Retail Locations tab. That's MonacoBrewingCompany.com and click Retail Locations. The Up North podcast is sponsored by the Monaco Marketplace, or what we like to call the Amazon for progressives. Every product sold on the Monaco Marketplace is made by a company that's pledged to never donate money to the MAGA movement. There's over 60 companies on our marketplace, and we sell everything from nuts to detergents to doormats. Save democracy with your wallet by shopping only at MonacoMarketplace.com. For Up North podcast listeners, save 10% on any order in the store by going to MonacoMarketplace.com and typing in promo code UpNorth. That's MonacoMarketplace.com, promo code UpNorth. The Up North podcast is sponsored by the Monaco Brewing Company, who sells progressive beer online across the country. If you like the show today, please consider buying one of our beer subscription packages for yourself or a loved one. You can subscribe to the Democrat, the Liberal, and the Progressive, which delivers four packs of beer to your door for 6 months, a year, or 2 years. To find where you can subscribe to get Progressive Beer delivered to your door every month, go to MonacoBrewingCompany.com and click Progressive Beer. That's MonacoBrewingCompany.com and click Progressive Beer. Believe it or not, this podcast takes a lot of work behind the scenes to make Kirk and Company look like they know what they're doing. And a lot of money that goes to pay our producers and editors comes from the sale of our progressive t-shirts. The Monaco Brewing Company sells t-shirts to supplement our beer sales because we've been banned by beer distributors for our unapologetically progressive voice. To find where you can buy our t-shirts, go to MonacoMarketplace.com and go to Apparel. For Up North podcast listeners, get 10% off on all of our merch by going to MonacoMarketplace.com and typing in promo code UpNorth. That's MonacoMarketplace.com, promo code UpNorth.
EPT.
Streaming Chicago's progressive talk from TuneIn.
And we are continuing the Up North podcast brought to you by Monaco Brewing Company and our fearless leader, Kirk Bangstad, getting himself in a little bit of hot water. But I mean, they were looking for something. And that's the other thing, too. And you and I just happen to have moments where we give it to folks. Cheers. Tip one back from me.
I'm chilling out with some cold water right now or some hard cider. So.
Oh, nice. Excellent. I do love I have a can of it is and always will be the Gulf of Mexico Mexican lager in my fridge waiting for me right now.
Nice. Okay, so the story got weirder this morning when I was scrolling through Facebook and WSAW, which is like the ABC affiliate in Wausau, had a story where this poor guy got fired from his job. He was a senior executive at Aspirus, which is a conglomerate that's primarily located in Stevens Point and Wausau, but I think it's kind of all over Wisconsin. Huge healthcare kind of, healthcare group. This guy wore one of my T-shirts to a football game, and it said FDT, Foxtrot Delta Tango, F Donald Trump. He wore it to a football game, and he had a picture of it. And so I had posted this thing, that went viral about, this progressives kind of missing the mark and not aiming well enough. He responded with a picture of him taking a T-shirt of his T-shirt that he bought from me. There it is right there. Thanks. So he responded and he just said, just like kind of joining into the conversation, not saying, way to go, way to go, Kirk, way to be hoping that, Trump dies on Free Beer Day. He was just like joining the conversation, and he posted that. And because, I've been getting death threats, constantly, and my phone has been ringing off the hook. So they're going after people who are commenting on my Facebook page. And so libs of TikTok, which don't mistake it. This is a right-wing group. Libs of TikTok found that picture. And they said that he was, and they found out that he was, an executive at Aspirus. And so they tagged Aspirus, and they said, this guy is advocating for the death and, is just as bad as Bangstad is. And, and he's advocating political violence. How can you possibly employ him? And exactly what happened in the Charlie Kirk scenario, where teachers would say, wait a second, why are we all saying all these wonderful things about Charlie Kirk? I teach civics, and I've pointed out to my students that this guy is teaching the opposite, which is, to racist, feminist, all the terrible things that are anti-American, anti-human. They would say that in a sentence on Facebook, and they would get fired by their school boards. They get fired by their principals. The same thing happened to this guy. It was not even, I guarantee you, it's not even people. It was bots that piled on to Aspirus's social media. And I know it happens to me every couple months, so I'm used to it. But when it happens to a big company, they get scared that things are like the sky is falling. So the CEO, instead of just understanding that this stuff goes away after a day, usually when the Russian bots go to sleep, because they're on a different time zone than we are, when they go to sleep, this goes away. Instead, this guy got freaked out and cared more about online bullying Aspirus than he did about his executive, like a guy that might have reported directly to him. And he fired him, and they came up with this BS way of saying you're fired because of we don't agree with the political stance he took. He didn't take a political stance. He just wore a T-shirt, at a football game. Patty?
Yeah, because here's the thing. We're talking about Brian Keller. He did not call for violence. He posted a photo of himself in a T-shirt that is political in nature as a comment. And by the way, all the people that had the "Go Joe" or "Go," all that stuff. What was it? What was their phrase? Go Brandon.
Biden or
go. Let's go Brandon.
Let's go.
Yeah, because they were saying F Biden, and so, but they were saying that, and that was a joke. They had to explain it to you. At any rate, so Brian Keller posted a photo of himself in a political T-shirt as a comment on a dark satire brewery post, and that is the complete factual record. You're not calling for any, but no one was calling for anything. Libs of TikTok basically collapsed the distinction between dark satire and incitement and applied that framing to Keller by name and employer and directed pressure at Aspirus Health. So the mechanism was a social media pile-on, employer pressure, and that led to termination. There's no legal violation. Look, employers have the right if they're going to succumb to the pressure of it. But look, it was a T-shirt. And Wisconsin is an at-will employment state, right? Which means they had the legal right to just fire him. They didn't have to make it a reason if they didn't want him anymore, but they've, again, felt full of the pressure. There's no Wisconsin statute that protects private sector employees from termination for off-duty political speech. I know as somebody who has actually, by the way, I similarly lost my job because I had posted, someone had said, off with their head, and I wrote, that would cost me my job, and they said that was inciting violence.
I hear you.
I mean, having been through this, it's insane.
So I actually reached out. It's funny you mentioned that. I reached out to this guy this morning because I wanted to bring him on I felt sorry for him because it was our T-shirt, that ultimately, led to this pile-on. So I reached out to him. I wanted to talk. Can we do anything for you? And he actually said, listen, I want to talk to a lawyer first before I start talking about this publicly.
Yeah, you probably can't.
Yeah. He said, I don't know what my options are. Unfortunately, Sam, our producer, I think he did the research for him. And I think his options are limited because we are an at-will employment state. And so, and the First Amendment, it's misconstrued by all the keyboard warriors and all the YouTube university lawyers, out there with their YouTube graduate. But what the First Amendment protects you from the government penalizing you for something you say.
Yes.
It doesn't protect you from, your companies, from firing you or people just not liking you like it's happening to me right now. It doesn't protect you. It protects you from the government. So, so that's the biggest issue.
Right. And now everyone that works at Aspirus knows what their company is like and apparently just how malleable they are to pressure like this.
Yeah. So, so what this means, though, is that the First Amendment effectively was stifled from this guy, if not legally, effectually, because, the government can't come at you by saying the First Amendment, but the government can can send the bots and the lies and the propaganda to put so much pressure on companies that they obey in advance. We use that term so often. This CEO, he is a coward, I think. I think he should have stood up for his employees, and I think Aspirus employees should do something and should say this is not right. But this guy caved because he knows that the politics of vengeance is huge among Republicans and MAGA and Trump. And he was like, I don't want them to come at me. So effectually, the pressure was just as bad as the government stifling free speech, because the pressure of an authoritarian government will affect the company. So it just cuts people off of the knees before they are even allowed to defend themselves.
By the way, I'm not speaking for all Democrats or progressives, but we have no interest in him being taken out at all, because that would just martyr him. Like this would be there's no way.
He's so close anyways. I mean, the guy, look at the cankles of hope, it's like,
he's got a lot going. And to Kirk's point, there are a lot of medical professionals who've talked about this on Hal Sparks' show, who have talked about this on social media. There are experts who work in the field, whether they're doctors or even there's a physical therapist who works with people with dementia, who've talked about not just the swelling of his hands, but as Kirk pointed out, the apparent apparatus that has to be strapped to him in order to process whatever medications and outgoing fluids and solids from his body. I'm just saying there seems to be a lot being worked on to prolong what seems to not be that far away, is what we're talking about. So, I mean, we're not talking about this in a way that other people have not.
Exactly. But I wanted to kind of end with, kind of wrapping up everything that we've talked about so far. So this dude from Aspirus got fired. What do you think that's going to do to the next person that is worried about possibly saying, Free Beer Day? I love Free Beer Day, which stands for, what it stands for.
Celebrating the day of?
Celebrating his death. I have been pummeled. I have been.
Well, and can I say something? But here's the thing: is that it's not celebrating somebody's demise. Like, this is such a delicate place. But the oppression, the violence that has been carried out, it's looking at something that means a new phase of moving away from this authoritarianism. That's you know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Yeah, and I just want everybody to know that you can't let yourself be chilled out of speaking up. That's I think the takeaway from this whole thing is, don't stop just because you get a bunch of bots piling on you or doxing you or whatever. Like, we all have to get more courageous, and we all have to speak up even more now that we know that there's this machine out there that wants to just clobber anybody that tries to speak the truth or tries to say, this doesn't make sense. What I'm seeing with my eyes doesn't make sense to my gut. If you see that, you got to say it, because we all feel it and we can't just be scared.
And a lot of folks are texting in that they really appreciate this conversation. The right wing thinks disagreeing with them is violence. They think talking about Epstein and the Trump connection is violence. So now pointing out the facts will be interpreted as extreme. Pointing out Trump's incompetency will be silenced. So how do rational people live in the real world if the facts are painted as violent speech? So thank you so much for this conversation, everybody. Kirk Bangstad, the CEO of Monaco Brewing Company. You can go to MonacoBrewingCompany.com. Put in your order for some great progressive gear and beer. And also thank you to our sponsors, Pride Coffee Roasters, Source Solar, Monaco, as I said, and Are You Really Winning? Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Kirk. Everyone go to also support our work at the Substack. Be a paid subscriber if you don't mind. Thank you.